Coming up on today's episode of Airborne Unlimited, Williston, North Dakota gets a new airport, legendary aviator Dick Taylor has gone west, Avidyne IFD440 approved in Brazil. I'm Bree Cross. It is October 8th, 2015, and this is Airborne Unlimited. Sometimes federal funds received through the Airport Improvement Program go far beyond improvements to existing facilities. The FAA has announced a $27 million improvement program grant to the city of Williston, North Dakota to purchase land to build a completely new airport and meet growing aviation demand by replacing Slolan Field International Airport. North Dakota is the second largest oil-producing state in the United States. Oil drilling operations have increased Williston's population and increased passenger traffic, corporate aviation activity, and cargo operations. From 2008 to 2014, passenger enplanements at the existing airport increased from about 11,000 to 114,000, and it keeps growing. The new airport will be called Williston Basin International, with XWA as the three-letter airport identifier. It is expected to be open in 2018. This grant will help with the purchase of 1,540 acres of land. The total project cost, including land and construction of the new airport, is an estimated $254 million. The airport will be built in phases, with future funding from the City of Williston and the State of North Dakota, with the possibility of additional grants from the FAA. ANN has learned of the passing of aviation pioneer Dick Taylor. His passing was noted by General Aviation Manufacturers Association President and CEO Pete Bunce on the association's website. Bunce said in a statement posted on the website, quote, "Dick Taylor was an incredible aviator whose contributions to both the civil and military aviation industry have led to safety improvements that continue today. His flying career began during World War II when he served as a U.S. Army artillery spotter pilot in Europe," end quote. Taylor's many accolades include the FAA's Distinguished Service Award. He was also the recipient of the Elder Statesman of Aviation Award from the National Aeronautics Association and the Philip J. Klass Lifetime Achievement Laureate Award from Aviation Week. Bunce added, quote, "On behalf of Gamma, I want to express our heartfelt condolences to the entire Taylor family, including Dick's son, Steve, who served as Gamma's chairman in 2014, end quote. After the break, Avidyne receives Brazilian approval.
There's a difference between charting a steady course and pushing for the ceiling. And for nearly a century, Hartzell Propeller has been defining that difference. It's in our passion for engineering and research and our dedication to testing the limits of performance. We are built on honor. We are Hartzell Propeller.
The KSN 770 is an affordable, WAS-enabled integrated MFD with a flexible hybrid user interface from Bendix King. Get your fingers on the 770's perfect blend of touchscreen and hard buttons. Easily control your GPS navigation, NavCom, weather, traffic, and terrain in any condition. For more information, go to bendixking.com.
Redbird is quickly becoming the industry standard for flight training. Since Redbird introduced its revolutionary FMX in 2007, colleges, universities, and flight training operations around the world have integrated Redbird products into their curriculum. It's time to discover what Redbird can do for you. Join the migration.
AML's patent-pending wireless induction charging system eliminates confusion over those charging cables, cuts down cockpit cable clutter, and allows you and your passengers to fly cordless and eliminate the cable nightmare. www.aviationmodificationleaders.com.
Welcome back. If you have a story suggestion for Airborne Unlimited, Aero-TV, our website, or podcast, just email to news-spy@aero-news.net. Brazil's approval agency, known as the ANAC, has validated the Avidyne IFD440, which is a flight management system, GPS, and NavCom radio, and they have also issued approval for Release 10.1 software for the IFD540. Avidyne President Dan Schwinn said, quote, "The plug-and-play IFD440 adds significant improvements in functionality and ease of use while providing huge cost and time savings for a large number of aircraft owners looking to upgrade their older GPS systems. Release 10.1 software brings many new features and functions to the IFD540 that gives it greater utility and makes it even easier to use," end quote. Release 10.1 also includes the software required to remove the Emergency Airworthiness Directive regarding limitations on GPS approaches in the U.S., with specific leg types that was issued in May 2015. The IFD440 is a direct replacement for obsolete GNS 430 series navigators, and the IFD540 is a direct replacement for old GNS 530 series units. It's Thursday, which means that it's time for an Aero-Community update, highlighting news and information about the incredible people and organizations that populate the Airborne Partnership Initiative behind Airborne Unlimited. This week, the partner we highlight is a museum that lives and breathes. We all know them as the Commemorative Air Force, or more commonly referred to simply as the CAF. In the CAF, we bring a combination of leadership, commitment to the past, and an eye to the future to our team. The CAF got its start when Lloyd Nolan and a small group of ex-service pilots from the Rio Grande Valley in Texas pooled their money to purchase a P-51 Mustang in 1957. They formed a loosely defined organization to share the pleasure and expense of maintaining the Mustang. As other airplanes were added, it was decided to formalize the organization and establish the goal of acquiring, maintaining, and flying the aircraft of World War II for the purpose of preserving a living and breathing image of what occurred in those dark days. The CAF we see today has achieved their purpose and gone on to become an organization that represents the best there is in a membership dedicated to their interest in aviation. Not only is their membership dedicated to their own interests, they share that interest as a living history with their various airshow performances and display aircrafts. Through the CAF, we shall not forget what has been called America's greatest generation. After these messages, NATO says Russians should not fly over Turkey.
Concorde's recombinant gas RG series sealed battery technology produces a high-performance battery with the advantages of being pre-tested and fully charged at the factory. Find out more about Concorde's entire line of batteries at www.concordebattery.com. Concorde, the heart of your aircraft.
Now certified, Aspen Avionics single-band ADS-B ATX100 and ATX100G transceivers are the next-gen ADS-B solution that provides the features pilots need while keeping flyaway costs low. Check it out now at aspenavionics.com.
Sandia introduces the new SAI 340 Quattro TSO'd airspeed, attitude, altitude, and slip with integral backup battery. Safety never looked so good. See it now at www.sandia.aero.
Welcome back. With so much news coming out of the aviation industry, we're summarizing some other interesting stories in a brief segment we call Around the Patch. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg has cautioned Russia about two recent incursions into Turkish airspace. The aircraft in question entered Turkish airspace despite Turkish authorities' clear, timely, and repeated warnings. Moscow says it was accidental. Union protesters stormed the company headquarters of Air France Monday during a meeting where corporate officials were discussing job cuts at the airline. The meeting between airline executives and union representatives was being conducted to discuss a plan to cut nearly 3,000 jobs. Boeing has completed its upgrade of all U.S. Air Force F-22 Raptor mission training centers with its high-fidelity, constant-resolution visual system. The system trains pilots in a more realistic visual environment than current simulators and allows them to experience extreme maneuvers. In a message to Teamster flight attendants at NetJets Aviation this week, Teamsters Local 284 announced that a tentative agreement covering their 278 flight attendants had been reached. Union officials said there is still work to be done before a ratification vote. A high school teacher in New York City will be performing 5 hours of community service as a result of his UAV crashing at the stadium during a U.S. Open tennis match last month. The teacher claimed he lost control of the drone. Well, that's our trip around the patch. Now let's move on to the rest of the news. The International Space Station Multilateral Coordination Board has approved a major update to the Station Docking System Standard. First released in 2010, the docking standard established a common station-to-spacecraft equipment interface to enable spacecraft of multiple types to dock to the space station. The update to the standards will allow more varied docking capabilities. The international docking adapters that will soon be installed on the space station are fully compatible with the docking standard, which means that any spacecraft can use the adapters in the future. Another advantage of the new standards is that they will enable in-orbit crew rescue by a range of spacecraft types and international collaborative exploration with future spacecraft. With this revision, the standard now includes a full range of rendezvous operations with information on passive rendezvous targets used by spacecraft to locate the space station and lock on for approach. The standards have been released for the review of all interested agencies. Well, that's our program for today. Remember to get comprehensive real-time 24/7 coverage of the latest aviation and aerospace stories anytime at aero-news.net. Remember that Airborne Unlimited is streamed daily Monday through Friday, with additional breaking news bulletins for important stories that fall outside of our normal deadlines. Please join us and a growing roster of over 100 outstanding industry associations and organizations every weekday for the best in aviation and aerospace news from the staff of the Aero-News Network, the aviation world's most comprehensive news and information resource.